The discovery at the edge of everything, Captain. Elena Cross stood on the bridge of the UES horizon, staring at the view screen with a mixture of wonder and unease. After 18 months of traveling through the Outer Rim territories, they had finally reached what every star chart indicated was the absolute edge of the Milky Way galaxy. The view before them should have been empty space, the vast cosmic void between galaxies. Instead, her instruments were detecting something that shouldn't exist. "Dr. Chen, tell me what I'm looking at," Elena said, her voice steady despite the growing excitement in her chest. At 42, she had spent half her life exploring the unknown regions of space, but nothing had prepared her for this moment. Dr. Marcus Chen looked up from his science station, his dark eyes wide with disbelief. The xenobiology expert had joined this mission specifically to search for signs of life in the galaxy's most remote regions. What he was seeing now challenged everything he thought he knew about the universe. "Captain, I'm reading massive energy signatures ahead of us. The patterns are unlike anything in our databases. These readings suggest artificial construction on a scale that shouldn't be possible." Chen's fingers danced across his controls, trying to make sense of the data flooding his screens. Lieutenant Sarah Torres turned from her navigation console, her usually calm demeanor showing cracks of amazement. The young officer had guided them safely through asteroid fields and gravitational anomalies for the entire journey, but the readings on her instruments were beyond her experience. "Captain, our long-range sensors are detecting structures out there, massive ones, but they're positioned in what should be empty intergalactic space. According to our charts, there's nothing between our galaxy and Andromeda for over 2 million light-years." Elena felt her pulse quicken. In her 15 years as a deep space captain, she had learned to trust her instincts. Something extraordinary was waiting for them in the darkness ahead. She turned to her chief engineer, who was running diagnostics on every system simultaneously. "Tom, are our sensors malfunctioning? Could we be seeing some kind of echo or reflection?" Engineer Tom Bradley shook his head, his weathered hands moving expertly across multiple control interfaces. The 50-year-old veteran had kept ships running in impossible conditions throughout his career. If anyone could identify a technical malfunction, it was him. "Negative, Captain. I've run full diagnostics 3 times. All systems are operating within normal parameters. Whatever we're detecting out there, it's real. The energy output alone is staggering. We're talking about power generation that exceeds the combined output of every star in our local cluster." Elena made her decision. The Horizon had been sent to explore the galaxy's edge specifically to investigate unusual readings detected by Earth's deep space monitoring stations. Now they had found something that could change humanity's understanding of the universe itself. "Sarah, take us closer. Reduce speed to 1/4 impulse. Tom, keep all systems ready for immediate jump to hyperspace if necessary. Marcus, I want continuous scans of everything we encounter." As the Horizon moved forward, the mysterious energy signatures grew stronger. Chen's instruments began detecting patterns within the energy fields, mathematical sequences that suggested intelligent design. The structures ahead were not natural formations, but evidence of technology far beyond human capabilities. "Captain, I'm detecting what appears to be a massive field of some kind surrounding the structures. It's unlike any energy barrier we've encountered. The field appears to be bending light and space around itself, creating a kind of invisibility cloak on a cosmic scale." Elena felt a chill run down her spine. "Are you saying these structures have been hidden from us deliberately?" "That's exactly what I'm saying, Captain. This technology is designed to make entire sections of space appear empty to outside observers. We're only detecting it now because we're so close, and even then, our sensors are having difficulty penetrating the field." Torres looked up from her station with growing alarm. "Captain, I'm detecting movement within the field. Multiple large objects are changing position. I think our approach has been noticed." Before Elena could respond, every system on the bridge suddenly activated simultaneously. Lights flashed, consoles beeped with incoming data, and the main view screen flickered before displaying an image that left the entire crew speechless. The screen showed a vast network of artificial structures stretching as far as their enhanced sensors could detect. Space stations the size of moons orbited massive cylindrical constructs that appeared to be cities floating in the void. Ships moved between the structures, their designs unlike anything in human records. The scale of construction was overwhelming, suggesting a civilization with resources and technology far beyond anything humanity had imagined possible. "My God," Chen whispered. "It's an entire civilization. Multiple civilizations. They've been living out here in the space between galaxies, hidden from everyone inside the galactic rim." Elena tried to process what she was seeing. How long have they been here? Based on the structural complexity and the way these installations have been integrated with natural cosmic phenomena, I'd estimate tens of thousands of years at minimum, possibly much longer. Torres suddenly looked up from her console with urgency. "Captain, we're being scanned. Multiple sources, using technology I don't recognize. The scans are incredibly detailed, mapping everything from our hull composition to our biological signatures." "Any hostile intent?" Elena asked, her hand moving instinctively toward the emergency alert system. "Unknown, Captain. The scans are thorough but not aggressive. It's more like we're being examined than targeted." Before anyone could respond, the main view screen changed again. This time it displayed what appeared to be a communication interface. Symbols and patterns flowed across the screen, gradually organizing themselves into something resembling mathematical equations. Chen watched the display with growing excitement. "Captain, they're trying to establish communication. These symbols represent universal mathematical constants. They're showing us they understand advanced mathematics and physics. This is a standard first contact protocol." Elena straightened her uniform and stepped forward. This was the moment she had trained for her entire career, though she had never imagined it would happen at the edge of everything known. "Open a channel, Sarah. Let's see if we can talk to them." The symbols on the screen shifted and reorganized. After several minutes of mathematical exchanges, recognizable patterns began to emerge. The alien intelligence was learning their language systems with incredible speed, using the mathematical foundation to build a translation matrix. Finally, words appeared on the screen in perfect English. "Human vessel. Your species was not expected to reach the boundary for another 1,000 years. Your presence here indicates accelerated development beyond our projections." Elena cleared her throat and spoke directly to the screen. "This is Captain Elena Cross of the United Earthship Horizon. We come in peace as explorers seeking knowledge. Who are we speaking with?" "I am designated as Keeper of the Outer Threshold. I speak for the Preservation Council. Your arrival creates complications that require immediate resolution. You have discovered what was meant to remain hidden until your species achieved greater maturity." Dr. Chen stepped forward. "Keeper, we represent humanity's desire to learn and explore. We mean no harm to you or your civilization." "Harm is not our concern, Dr. Chen. Your files indicate you are a seeker of knowledge. What concerns us is whether your species is prepared for the knowledge you have accidentally uncovered." Elena felt the weight of the moment. "What knowledge? What are you preserving out here?" The screen was silent for a long moment before the words appeared that would change everything. "We are preserving the survivors, Captain Cross. Your galaxy, which you call the Milky Way, is not what you believe it to be. It is a sanctuary, isolated and protected from the truth of what exists in the greater universe. We are the remnants of thousands of civilizations that once flourished in dozens of galaxies before the Devourers found them." Torres looked confused. "Devourers? What are Devourers?" "Entities of pure consumption that move between galaxies, consuming all matter, energy, and life they encounter. They have already destroyed 70% of the known universe. We survivors hide here, in the spaces between galaxies, maintaining barriers around the remaining intact systems to keep them hidden." Elena felt the blood drain from her face. "Are you saying our entire galaxy is inside some kind of protective barrier?" "Your galaxy, Captain, is the last major star system that remains untouched by the Devourers. It has been sealed and hidden for over 100,000 years. We have been its guardians, ensuring that no signals escape to attract attention, no advanced technology develops too quickly, and no species ventures beyond the boundary until they are ready to learn the truth." Chen sank into his chair. That's why we found no evidence of advanced alien life in our galaxy. You've been hiding us. Correct, Dr. Chen. Your species has developed faster than any previous civilization we have monitored. You reached the boundary centuries ahead of our most optimistic projections. This acceleration suggests capabilities we had not recognized. Elena struggled to maintain her composure as the implications hit her. What happens now? Now that we know? That depends on what your species chooses to do with this knowledge, Captain Cross. The barriers around your galaxy are failing. After 100,000 years, the technology requires resources we no longer possess. The Devourers have detected the deterioration. They are coming. The bridge fell silent except for the soft hum of the ship's systems. Elena looked at her crew, seeing her own fear and determination reflected in their faces. Humanity had just learned they were living in a cosmic nature preserve and the protection was about to end. How long do we have? She asked quietly. According to our calculations, the barriers will fail completely within 50 years. When they do, the Devourers will detect your galaxy's location. They will come, and they will consume everything, just as they have consumed everything else. Elena Cross took a deep breath and made the decision that would define humanity's future. Then we need to talk, all of us. It's time for humanity to learn the truth about the universe, and it's time for us to decide what we're going to do about it. The screen flickered and new words appeared. Prepare your ship for docking, Captain Cross. The Preservation Council will convene. But know this, once you enter our realm, once you learn what we know, there will be no returning to the innocence. Your species has known. The burden of truth, once accepted, cannot be undone. Elena looked at her crew one final time before answering. We understand. We're ready. But even as she spoke those words, Elena Cross wondered if anyone could ever truly be ready to learn that their entire universe was about to end, and that humanity might be the last hope for preventing it. The unthinkable truth, the docking bay of the Preservation Council station defied every law of physics Elena Cross thought she understood. The space was impossibly vast, easily accommodating vessels the size of Earth's largest cities. Gravity fields shifted smoothly to accommodate dozens of different species' needs, while atmospheric barriers allowed beings with incompatible environmental requirements to exist in the same space. Elena and her crew walked down the horizon's ramp, surrounded by sights that challenged their sanity. Crystalline beings that sang in harmonious frequencies moved alongside mechanical entities whose bodies shifted like liquid metal. Creatures of pure energy communicated with plant-like beings whose root systems extended into the station's infrastructure itself. Welcome to Sanctuary Station, Captain Cross. The voice came from a being that appeared to be made of flowing water held in a vaguely humanoid shape. I am Keeper of the Outer Threshold, as you have already communicated with my digital representation. Dr. Chen stepped forward, his scientific mind racing to catalog the impossible diversity surrounding them. How many species are represented here? The Preservation Council consists of representatives from 4,732 distinct civilizations. We are all that remains of galaxies that once held trillions of living beings. Elena felt the weight of those numbers. All destroyed by these devourers? Consumed, corrected another voice. This came from a being that looked like a tree made of stars, its branches shifting with patterns of light. I am known as Chronicle of Lost Worlds. I have witnessed 17 galaxies fall to the Devourers. Destruction implies waste. The Devourers waste nothing. They convert all matter and energy into more of themselves. Lieutenant Torres looked around the vast space with growing unease. If they consume everything, how did you escape? We ran, Chronicle answered simply. When a galaxy is invaded, the Devourers consume from the center outward. Civilizations on the rim have time to evacuate if they act quickly. We gathered what we could save and fled to the void between galaxies. Engineer Bradley studied the station's architecture with professional interest. How do you maintain all this in intergalactic space? The energy requirements alone should be impossible. A mechanical being approached them, its voice resonating with harmonics that suggested vast computational power. I am architect of necessary constructs. We harvest energy from the cosmic web itself, the dark matter filaments that connect all galaxies. It is sufficient for survival, but not for the massive undertaking that now faces us. Elena sensed they were approaching the real purpose of this meeting. What undertaking? Keeper gestured toward a vast opening in the station's structure. Through it, they could see the Milky Way galaxy in the distance, its spiral arms clearly visible against the cosmic background. But now Elena could also see something else, a shimmering barrier of energy that completely enclosed their home galaxy, like a soap bubble. The barriers protecting your galaxy are failing, Captain Cross. Our technology has maintained them for 100,000 years, but the energy cost grows exponentially over time. We lack the resources to continue. Chronicle's star pattern shifted to show images of cosmic devastation. In approximately 50 of your Earth years, the barriers will collapse completely. When they do, the devourers will detect your galaxy's emissions. They will come. Dr. Chen studied the images with growing horror. What exactly are these devourers? How do they operate? They are not life as you understand it, Architect explained. They are entropy given consciousness, the universe's tendency toward decay accelerated and focused. They exist in the space between dimensions, entering normal space only to feed. Elena. Watch the images change, showing vast dark shapes moving between stars, leaving empty void behind them. How do you fight something like that? You cannot fight them directly, Keeper said sadly. Conventional weapons, even those of the most advanced civilizations, are simply absorbed and converted. The devourers grow stronger from every attack. Then, how do we stop them? Torres asked desperately. Chronicle's light pattern shifted to show something unexpected. Human activities throughout history. Images of humans surviving impossible disasters, adapting to hostile environments, finding solutions to unsolvable problems. Your species possesses something we have never encountered before, Captain Cross. You call it stubbornness. We call it the adaptation factor. Humans do not simply survive hostile conditions. You unconsciously alter reality around yourselves. To make survival possible, Elena stared at the images. That's not possible. Humans can't change reality. Can you not? Architect asked. Your species survived an ice age that should have killed you. Not once, but multiple times. You developed agriculture independently in dozens of locations simultaneously. You discovered mathematics, physics, and engineering following patterns that appear in no other species' development. Dr. Chen looked skeptical. Those are just examples of human ingenuity and cooperation. Dr. Chen, Chronicle continued, your personal research has documented 17 cases of human colonies surviving in environments that should have been completely lethal. In each case, the environmental conditions themselves shifted to become more hospitable over time. Elena felt a chill of recognition. She had heard similar stories throughout her career, human settlements in impossible locations that somehow made those locations work. What are you suggesting? We believe, Keeper said carefully, that humans possess an unconscious ability to influence probability itself. Where other species adapt to their environment, humans unconsciously adapt their environment to themselves. This ability appears to grow stronger under extreme stress. Bradley looked around at the assembled aliens. You want us to use this ability against the devourers. We want to test whether human presence can alter the fundamental nature of the devourers themselves, Architect confirmed. If humans can unconsciously influence entities that exist partially outside normal space-time, you might be able to change them from consumers into something else. Elena felt the enormity of what they were asking. You want to use humanity as a weapon. We want to offer humanity the chance to save itself, Chronicle corrected. The barriers will fail regardless of what we do. Your galaxy will be discovered and consumed. But if humans can influence the devourer's nature, you might transform them into something that preserves rather than destroys. Torres looked doubtful. What if it doesn't work? What if we just make them stronger? Then the outcome is the same, as if we do nothing, Keeper replied honestly. Total consumption of your galaxy and eventual consumption of our refugees as well. At least this way we have hope. Elena studied her crew, seeing her own thoughts reflected in their faces. They were being asked to gamble with the lives of every human being who had ever existed, and with the last survivors of thousands of other civilizations as well. What would you need from us? Initially, a small team of humans willing to accompany us to the edge of Devourer space. We need to test the theory before committing to larger action. If the tests prove successful, we would need your people to prepare your entire species for what may be the most important moment in cosmic history. Doctor. Chen stepped forward. I volunteer for the test team. As do I, Torres added immediately. Bradley nodded his agreement. Count me in, Captain. Elena looked at her crew with pride and terror in equal measure. These were the people who had trusted her to lead them safely through the unknown regions of space. Now she was being asked to lead them into something far more dangerous than she had ever imagined. What are the odds of survival for the test team? Unknown, Architect admitted. We have never attempted anything like this. The Devourers may consume the test team immediately, or they may be changed by human presence in ways we cannot predict. Elena took a deep breath, thinking of Earth, of the billions of people who had no idea their entire reality was about to change forever. She thought of humanity's long history of facing impossible odds and somehow finding a way through. When do we leave? Chronicle's patterns brightened with what might have been hope. The test mission can depart within days, but Captain Cross, you should know that if this plan succeeds, if humans can truly influence the Devourers, the universe will never be the same again. Humanity will become the guardians of reality itself. Elena Cross looked out at the Milky Way, galaxy her home, floating in its protective bubble while cosmic predators circled in dimensions beyond human sight. She thought about all the generations of humans who had looked up at the stars and wondered if they were alone. Now she knew the truth. They weren't alone, but they might be the universe's last hope. Then we'd better make sure we succeed, she said firmly. Because if there's one thing humans are good at, it's doing the impossible when everything depends on it. As the Preservation Council began preparations for the most dangerous mission in cosmic history, Elena Cross stood looking at the stars and made a silent promise to every human who had ever lived. They would find a way, they would adapt, they would survive, because that's what humans do. The universe was about to discover why humanity had earned its reputation as the species that never gives up, even when facing the impossible. The Devourers were coming, but they had never encountered anything like human determination. The real test was about to begin.